10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
Whew. The Bears lose to the Packers, and they make a hell of a game in the process of doing so. That was, my heart rate's still up right now. It's too bad that it ended that way. It's an unfortunate ending to what became a terrific football game because of the Bears' second half response. And the Bears fall to 9-4. Green Bay improves to 9-3-1. But there is a lot to unpack in this game. There are plenty of negatives, but the game not without some positives, not without something that they can hang their hat on, having fought back the way that they did.
Yeah, I thought despite the outcome of the game and despite that last pass that Caleb Williams threw, you had Cole Kmet. He got behind the defense. He just didn't get enough on the ball. Despite all of that, Dan, I thought I was very encouraged with the second half of that game. Very encouraged with where this season sits, where the Bears are. I know it's disappointing to have the loss. I know the Bears go from the 1 seed. They drop down in the playoff picture now. The Packers jump up to the first place in the NFC North, but I was very encouraged. And that second half of that game, again, take that interception out by Caleb Williams. That is what I'm talking about for Caleb Williams. That is the quarterback that I want to see consistently make plays for my Chicago Bears. That's the kid I was waiting to see. That's the quarterback that I think we will see moving forward. This was a really important and a big game for the progression, not only of Ben Johnson's offense, but for this team moving forward for this year and beyond. That when I get frustrated with Caleb, it's because that's the guy I want to see. Take that interception out. That's what I want to see from Caleb Williams. Hell of a game in the second half.
It's interesting that you use the phrase moving forward because so much of his success in the second half was him moving sideways. And they started out with some boot action, and then it was scrambling, and so many terrific plays that he made just coming up with stuff on the move. The difference in the game, I thought, in his performance was simply moving that launch point and allowing him to work into the game a little bit. It was a strange game. It started with some fits and starts and that interception. It never seemed to quite settle down. And I don't know what was going on with Jalen Johnson in the first half on those two plays. The fact that they had to dig out, that 45-yard touchdown when they just caught him in a busted coverage, and Bo Melton gets the touchdown. You think about the way that changed the complexion of the game, and you see how everything matters and how much Ben Johnson was able to learn. The fact that they came out in the second half and made it a completely different game. These teams are going to meet again. And there was a lot of information that was available in that second half that I think both teams are going to act on. But if nothing else, yeah, it's a loss. It's too bad. And I certainly don't want to paint this as any kind of Pyrrhic victory. Or I should say moral victory, to use the proper term. But it definitely seems like they were just down too far. They just, because they allowed that extra touchdown, they just had to come back from too far down. But it looked like they solved something in the second half. I just wish they could have tackled better. So much of what Ben Johnson was figuring out was undone by poor tackling. And I'll say this about the Packers: they tackle.
They tackle very well, which is why they lead the league in yards after catch. They if it's a one-on-one matchup, more times than not, they are going to make that tackle. The Bears had an opportunity on Josh Jacobs on that game-winning touchdown drive where he went through and he got through four guys, somehow get hands on him. I think it was DeMarco Jackson who goes in backwards. Like, you're not going to tackle anybody with your back. It's just not going to happen. Three other guys get their hands on him, and he just gets through. That was frustrating to watch. And you bring up Jalen Johnson. I have the top of my notes, Dan. Is Jalen okay? Because he just did not look okay. I know he was back last week, but you would have thought that this was his first game of the season. I don't, like, he didn't know where to be on a couple plays. There was one on a blitz where he stood there. He didn't even move. I hope he's okay, but he didn't seem okay today. And of course, we get the news before the game starts. Well, actually, after the game started, that Kyler Gordon injured his groin in warm-up, so he was out for the game. Put the already hurt secondary in a difficult position. But this is a team, Dan, with the most games lost to injury. 240 in the league going into this game, by a mile, and they were still 9-3 going into this game, so they were able to overcome injuries. But I want to know if Jalen Johnson is okay, because he just did not look like himself at all out there.
Looking at some of the final numbers that I do not think tell the story. This is a game where the totals have to be explained because things changed so much from one half to the other. But Caleb Williams finished 19 of 35 for 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. The running game, you see it here, DeAndre Swift, 13 carries for 63 yards. Kyle Monungai, boy, he's going to be sore. 14 carries for 57 yards, but he just takes an absolute pounding. I don't know how long a career he's going to have with just some of the punishment that he takes and dishes out. Caleb Williams had 4 carries for 15 yards, Luther Burden the 1 carry for 3. And I actually thought on that final carry by Caleb Williams, had he not thrown the ball, I thought he had the first.
He might have had the first. It would have been it would have been close, because I think there was 2 or 3 Packers defenders around Swift.
Yep.
He may have gotten there.
Thought he had it.
But he saw Caleb, and that's the same play where he had the touchdown.
He saw Komet,
or Komet. I'm sorry. He had the touchdown last week. That's the same play. Again, the ball was just a little underthrown. And again, as disappointing as that was, that second half was what I want to see from Caleb Williams. The Packers were able to get pressure up the middle to force him out of the pocket. He was able to use his feet to stay alive, as he's been doing all season long. Made some great passes. Devin Duvernay with a catch.
Where'd that come from?
I couldn't believe it. I had
Where
to
did
check.
that come? Where did he come from?
I didn't even know that he was out running routes, let alone making significant catches in a game. But look at that. That was quite the play for Duvernay, for Caleb. But the difference too in the first half, Dan, and I texted you this too, and it's something we saw in the Vikings game with Brian Flores. Mm-hmm. What they did in that second game against the Bears was walk one of the defensive backs up to the weak side of the offensive line and disrupt the backfield. The Packers were doing the same thing. Not only were doing that, but they were doing something else the Vikings also did, a delayed linebacker blitz, a secondary blitz coming through, and that was creating problems in the backfield. Whatever adjustments they made or whatever they talked about in the locker room at halftime, the offensive line came out, and they were a different unit in the second half.
Well, I think part of
dominated
it
with the run game.
As we discussed throughout the week, is a commitment to the run game is just that. And sometimes you don't begin to see the fruits of that effort until later on. And I think this was one of those games where the physical pounding was starting to take the starch out of them a little bit.
Yeah, they looked tired.
And to know that, and to have a 4-quarter full game strategy when it comes to that, to have 2 healthy running backs who aren't afraid of contact, and to have that interior line that you feel so strongly about. This is the way, as the weather worsens, as conditions begin to get more difficult, that they can look to that, and they'll start to look at the average per play. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but the body blows that a running game can deliver, you just can't get down. That second touchdown is killing me. That to allow the 45-yard touchdown to Melton on the 2nd and 10, that's the one. The whole strategy, everything would have worked out just right. And I'm not making excuses, but it was just too deep a hole. They made everybody screams for halftime adjustments. They made their proper adjustments. They knew what they had to do. They stuck with what they had to do. And I'll say this as I was going through the numbers. While Caleb Williams started 0 for 5 and did continue to have some accuracy problems, there was a pass to DeAndre Swift where he was off target on just that little flip in the third quarter.
Over the defender.
There were a couple of those just you cannot have. But he threw the ball away in several cases wisely. wisely living to fight another day and not taking negative plays. So I'm going to take a lot of those, and it's why I prefaced looking at some of the numbers the way I did, that there were some really intelligent throwaways by Caleb Williams when he just didn't have it. And I have no problem with that. I just want to continue here real quick. Leading receiver was Luther Burden, targeted 6 times, caught 4. Cole Kmet had 2 catches for 42. Colston Loveland, 4 catches for 29 of the touchdown. Devin Duvernay, that 1 catch. He's certainly better at that than he is at returning kicks, because
he just finds a guy to run into for some reason.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Swift caught 3 passes for 19 yards. Zacchaeus had 2 catches for 7. Durham Smythe, Kyle Monungai, DJ Moore each caught 1. I don't know what was wrong with DJ Moore.
Yeah, he just, again, doesn't look like himself. I mean, I would say similarly with Jalen Johnson, what I said earlier, he didn't look like himself. DJ Moore just does not look like himself. And can we please, I'm glad you brought his name up, anything designed for DJ Moore behind the line of scrimmage, just take out of the playbook now. Whatever it is, just take it out of the playbook, whether it's a run or it's a pass to DJ Moore. Just stop getting the ball or trying to get the ball to DJ Moore behind the line of scrimmage. Wide receiver screen to Luther Burden, just fine. 1 to DJ Moore, gets blown up. A run play to DJ Moore, gets blown up. Just stop doing that behind the line of scrimmage. It was fine earlier in the year because we had to find ways to incorporate him in the offense when our run game wasn't quite there. The run game's been there now since week 3. Stop doing that with DJ Moore. Another thing I want to add, and one of our listeners had this in the comments, another play where Caleb Williams gives himself up by sliding and still gets hit in the head. I just don't understand why that keeps happening, and how in God's name do the referees, when on the goal line play, when Theo Benedict is eligible, an eligible receiver is running through the left side of the backfield and gets taken out. His legs. How is that not a flag? And how do you miss that? He's eligible. You cannot do that to an eligible receiver. Take his legs out like that. How the flag's missed, I don't get it. But that and the Caleb Williams, again, being hit in the head while sliding, not called once again. I just do not understand it.
I want to take a step back here, and I need to determine why I don't feel as bad about this loss as I think I should have. Maybe it's just because there was so much positive energy in that second half, and it ended the way it did. It's like, okay, the feeling that I get on this one is if I'm Ben Johnson, I can shake Matt LaFleur's hand and say all the nice things, but as I'm walking back to the locker room, I'm thinking, okay, all right, you got us here. You got us here, but I learned enough that you're not going to get us when we meet again. That's just the kind of the way I'm coming out of this. I saw you. You had us. I'm saying us as if I were Ben Johnson. I'm not saying us as a fan, but I'm saying the way you come out of this, like, you have the number. You had them, and then they figured something out, and they just got too far down to if these two teams were out there for another 2 quarters, I think the Bears would have pulled away. You know what I mean? Like that. It's that kind of thing. They just got it too late.
Going into the Eagles game, what did you say about that game? You said you just want the Bears to play well, and they dominated from start to finish. Now, I can't recall a time, except maybe it was 2018, that the Bears actually had back-to-back road wins against winning teams. So it was a tall order here for the Bears to come in and win in Lambeau after winning in Philly. Now, they could certainly do it. I think why you feel okay, it's the same way I do. That second half, again, it was a different team. And the Bears not only played with this team, I thought they dominated them in the second half of this game. And it was some explosive plays, some big plays that the Packers made are the difference. The Packers they had one significant drive when they needed it. When they needed it, it was 21-21. The Bears came back and answered it, and the Packers answered with a 65-yard play drive that was significant. That was a big drive. Otherwise, it's big plays. And what passing route killed us that we talked about during this week? It's always against the Packers. It's
the slant.
Fucking slant routes.
It's the slant.
And the Christian again, and we talked about it, and I said, why do the Packers always beat the Bears with these effing slant routes?
Yeah, and not only that, the touchdown to Watson when they had C.J. Gardner-Johnson on him, that was an old-fashioned Aaron Rodgers, like, audible secret menu play. They're waving to each other. They're passing guys off, like trying to figure out who's going where. That was drawing up a play in the dirt, and that's what made it so annoying, because it was so reminiscent of the kind of thing that Rodgers would do to them.
Yeah, but Rodgers Rodgers will actually suck your soul out and make you depressed and unhappy and make you the unhappiest you've ever been in your life if you date him. That's what I've heard.
I saw that. My goodness. Like a Dementor.
Shailene Woodley, she was like, I was the most depressed ever. Sucked the soul right out of me.
So
and
he destroyed her will to live?
Well,
my God.
Anyway, so I think that's why you feel okay with it, because it's frustrating loss, and as bad as the first half looked, and as bad as Caleb started this game, if you have any questions about is this a real football team in this NFL, is this a good team, you're goddamn right they're a good team. And I think you should feel good about this team despite the loss, because in 2 weeks it's not going to be the same result. It is not going to be the same result. It's not going to be the same start. It's not going to be. And the Packers should be really thankful that they were able to get away with this game, because in the second half they certainly were not the better team, and their defense was getting beat and getting tired.
It reminds me of a prize fight in which the scorecards get skewed early because of a knockdown, because you have
good,
you know what I mean?
Call.
You have a couple 10-8 rounds in there, and you're like, well, it's got to be a knockout to win. And you're punching and punching and punching, and you see that maybe there's a stumble, or there's something where you realize that you got the opponent hurt, but by the time you're finally wailing away at the end, and then the bell just rings, and there's nothing you can do, or in the case of this one, you end up getting yourself knocked out. But there was a moment there, like that feeling of, okay, wait a second here. They got up off the mat. They figured stuff out. There are other Bears teams that would have just continued to keep doing what they're doing and run into a wall, and this team didn't. There's something different about it. And please don't misconstrue this as setting a low bar or saying, hooray, participation trophy. I'm not. They lost. And it sucks that they lost. It sucks to lose up there. But what they were able to learn, what they were able to figure out, what they were able to change, the control that they had, and watching how tired Green Bay got, they made this a very entertaining football game, first and foremost. This was really fun to watch, and that second half absolutely flew by. And there were some encouraging things in there, and obviously we're going to go through who was at fault, why everything went wrong, and maybe Ben Johnson got a little cute with the play calling in this game. But the other thing I'm getting used to, it's going to be cute. It's going to be cute. And you can have both. This was a game where he tried a couple tricky, silly things, but while they were pounding at the midsection the entire time also. So part of that is counterbalanced. Part of the stuff where they're having all the little fancy plays in there is counterbalanced by the commitment to still punching them with the run game over and over and over again. You earn the right to get cute by doing that. And I'm trying to get used to the way Ben Johnson calls these games. And I just know, and I'd like to think that by the time Johnson's had enough of these shots, he's going to win, and he's going to beat the Packers, and Ben Johnson will win in Lambeau Field.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And when you look at this game, being down 14-3 with absolutely zero rhythm, offensively speaking, in the first half of this game, to come out and lose this game by 7 with a chance to tie the game in the end there, or at least get a touchdown, that was just an underthrow on Caleb Williams, one of his really bad throws, and only bad throw in the second half. I thought he played so well. To be able to do that and to lose by 7 in Lambeau is a significant move forward for this team in this season. So, again, even last week, they dominate the Eagles, and people still made excuses about the Bears and about this. And, the Eagles didn't have this, or the Eagles did that. The Eagles were off their game from this. Whatever excuses there were, you can look at this game and say, yeah, the Bears are a good football team. Because you can talk about all the national perspective and all the national respect that the Green Bay Packers have. The Bears came out there and really put on a really good game second half wise, and weren't there for the first half, and still is a 7-point game.
Well, not to mention
that says a lot about this team.
I think it does, and I think we should add to that the fact that Roma Dunze was out.
Yeah.
That they were able to prepare without him, but they were not able to prepare for the lack of Kyler Gordon. This is one of your best, most versatile defensive players who gets hurt in warm-ups, and to not have him, and immediately before the game, to not be able to prepare to not have him.
Yeah, that makes a difference. I mean, we saw that in the Cowboys game. When the Cowboys lose CeeDee Lamb early in the first quarter, it makes a difference not being able to know you're not going to have someone and prepare for it. To be able to do that last minute is very difficult, even though they've been doing it all season long with backups. And you have CJ GJ in there as well, too, but they just couldn't overcome what seemed like that loss, and then some mishaps in the defensive backfield. It's not good.
And, you know, I was really disappointed that first sack by Montes Sweat in the first quarter didn't augur for a better game for him. I really thought that, okay, he got through, means he's got good legs, or he's got a good matchup, or they're exploiting something with the way they're angling everybody, and it was not to be. It did not presage any play from him that would say that we didn't have the Montes Sweat game. And I thought maybe with that sack, all right, this is one where he is a force. That the 4-man pass rush isn't good enough, and it's not going to be.
It hasn't been, and it's not going to be.
If they're going to win a playoff game, they've got to get off blocks and up the field and disrupt. And as Dennis Allen asked you to, win the battle, throw your guy aside and look for who's next. And they're just not doing that enough.
Yeah, there's some comments here about Montes Sweat, and Montes Sweat does not suck. I mean, let's be realistic about it. No, he does not suck. He's great against the run. You saw him; he makes a lot of plays in the middle of the field. He's paid as an elite pass rusher on the edge, and he's just
got 8.5
sacks. He does 9. He has 9 now, I think.
9,
right?
Okay.
And he's just not that though. He's not that quick step. That guy like Micah Parsons. He's not like Van Ginkel. He's not like Crosby. He's not that style of guy. He's a guy that takes on the body of the guy in front of him and still creates pressure in the pocket. That's what he does. He's not that speed edge guy. That's what we want from him, but that's not what he is. So let's not say that he sucks. He doesn't suck. I will say this, though, about him, and I say it every game, and it really frustrates me. He's slow. He is very, very slow. Now, it's not even looking at comparing him to an elite edge rusher off the edge like a Crosby or a Parsons. He's just slow. And his knees barely bend when he runs. He runs like an old head. I just don't get it. I don't get it. In his pursuit, I told you, I think Andrew Billings would beat him in a foot race. I do. No. I really do. No. My guy, Andrew Billings, a sub 540 would take down Montes Sweat in a race.
No, he wouldn't.
You put a burger 40 yards away, go.
No.
Billings beats him.
No, he
every
doesn't.
time.
No, he doesn't. I'm telling you. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying except that. This has also been what we're seeing now is the use of Colston Loveland by Ben Johnson as if in fact the Bears win playoff games, Loveland is going to be a big part of it.
Yeah,
I think it is really clear, even on plays where he doesn't get the ball. The way he's able to create some mismatches and what Johnson's able to do with him, this is why he drafted him. And I say he. I don't think Ryan Poles drafted Colston Loveland. I think this is a Ben Johnson pick, and we're starting to get a look at why with the different places they line him up, the way he can chip and get out into coverage. I'm not just talking about the touchdown, because there were some plays that were throwaways where it looked to me like Loveland in space, if given enough time, may develop into their primary.
No, he
does some
possibly
special
could.
things.
There was one play, the Monungai touchdown run that you really give credit to Dahlman and Tooney for. Colston Loveland's the lead blocker on there, and he gets completely lost. He doesn't know.
Well, he went one way.
He didn't know which gap to hit, and then he gets through the hole and doesn't even touch anybody, and is like spinning around in the end zone, like where'd he go? And then Kyle's getting pushed in the end zone by two of our offensive linemen. So, yeah. Outside of that, I want to highlight too the pass that Caleb made rolling right down the sideline, the touch pass to Cole Kmet.
Oh, yeah,
was
brilliant,
unbelievable. And does Cole Kmet have in his contract to catch the ball and fall down?
Don't ask. I don't know.
is he required to fall immediately? Because he could catch and run. It's not illegal.
Okay, you're allowed to keep your feet.
You can keep your feet under you and keep moving. It's okay to do that, but it seems like he has to catch it and fall down immediately.
Anytime he can,
and I don't mean it on that touch pass on the sideline. That was you had to do that. It was the one where again Caleb's going right and he hits Cole Kmet in stride and he falls down for some reason. Like keep your feet under the. Let's use that big body. Keep running, man.
I want to take a look at some of the team stats just to see how many penalties they had, because I believe they.
I got it here for you.
Do you? Because I believe they were all right. I think that this was.
I think the Packers had more. The Bears were 4 for 17, which is what you want, under 6, and then the Packers were 6 for 55.
Kudos to that. That's where it's 4 for 17. That's a terrific game penalty wise.
Yep. Red zone though was tough. Bears were 2 for 4 in the red zone. Packers 1 for 1. So it tells you the explosive plays that they had as well.
I would really like for them to be better open field tacklers. There were too many times, especially with Jacobs, and I know he's really good. And that one play where they had 3 guys all tackle each other was that's a 1 out of 100 outcome.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
I mean, that happened. If it's Barry Sanders, that's one thing. But when everybody runs over and you have him dead to rights, and then you all tackle each other, and you're there in a pile of bears, and he's running free. But they've got to secure some of these open field tackles. They have to.
The Bears with 7 more minutes in possession time. They also ran total plays 68 to 52, so 16 more plays. Yet they finish in yards behind at 22 less yards. Both teams had 9 total drives. Yards per play, 4.6 for the Bears, 6.5 for the Packers. On the rushing game, Bears had 4.3 yards per carry. The Packers at 4.5.
So one of my open
one turnover
items,
each, obviously.
One of my open items on here, obviously, we want to find out if Nashawn Wright is okay. I hope he didn't suffer a concussion when he got kicked in the face.
I didn't see concussion. I was wondering if something happened to his. You just saw he was bleeding as he was walking out the field. He got kicked under his face mask on his jaw. I was hoping it wasn't something like with a tooth.
Right.
But you clearly saw blood coming out. I didn't see concussion in his eyes because they showed him pretty close. Mm-hmm. He looked like he was in some pain though. So.
And my other open item is what we started this post game with. Is Jalen Johnson okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is he all right? Physically, mentally, is he all right? Because he is. I'm not just talking about the 2 touchdowns where he was in between or confused. There were a couple times in the run game where I was expecting him to stick his nose in there, and he just didn't. So I don't know, but when Nick McLeod came in for a moment. And the thing about Johnson, he's easy to find because of the sleeves that he wears. Mm-hmm. He's always wearing those bright sleeves. And when he was off the field and McLeod came in, and they went right after McLeod when he did come in. I'm just curious what is going on there, because he did not look like himself. We know to expect a lot more from him in both the pass and the run game.
Yeah, and you have opportunities for OZ today to make plays, and then Devin Duvernay. I'm frustrated with DJ Moore's play this year. But if you're not going to be all out on every play, then get more rotation for other guys. Seriously, I'm not going to compare their stats or their careers because it's not even close. DJ Moore is a better receiver than both those guys. It's not even a question. It's not what I'm saying. But if you're not going to be all effort on every play, then get other guys' rotation in there, because he looked like the offensive version of Jalen Johnson today. Just not okay. Just not okay out there. And it also goes to explain what we've talked about and what we've seen with Roma Dunze the last 2 weeks, not having any idea that he's playing with a stress fracture in his foot. We said he just doesn't look the same. He was still blocking, though, and being a big part of the run game as a wide receiver, just wasn't making the plays as a receiver the last 2 weeks. And we come to find out playing with a stress fracture, which kept him out of the game today, which also impacted the way the outcome of this game went, I think. Dude, again, the Bears played one half. They played one half of football today, and they lost 28-21 in Lambeau.
I know this is going to be probably something to talk about during the week, and I don't want to jump into a whole week's worth of shows here, but when I look at how and why they succeeded in the second half, and I'm wondering how much of this is due to the given matchup, the given situation, and the given opponent. Because I know what's going to happen here. We are going to have an outcry, and we're going to have a very vocal group of people who want Caleb on the edges, who say, look at what he does. Some of these throws falling out of bounds. I mean, the guy is, as he's racing toward the sideline, some of the throws that he makes are just insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the way Ben Johnson envisions the offense running.
No,
it is not. And for a situational play, for some of these oh my God throws, and he makes these oh my God throws, the question that I have, how do you allow and continue to allow for the possibility of these? I don't want his creativity taken out. I don't want to excise some of these opportunities. But I also know that the design of the offense is to win from the pocket with timing and accuracy against man or zone. There were several times off boot action that we saw in the second half where we saw half field layered throws.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that he as they move and as things are moving laterally, that there were these opportunities, but it does divide the field in half, and it's not necessarily staple Ben Johnson offense stuff. So the question I'm going to have, like when this is going the way it's supposed to do, when it's humming, and when they are punching with that game, if the run game, they still want those deep inbreakers. Mm-hmm. They still want the stuff you see from the Lions. This is about finding the soft middle and taking advantage of the soft middle of the field. And they're not going to win a Super Bowl unless they do that. They're not going to win a Super Bowl unless they do it. And they've, as much as I want Caleb to be able to create and to do some of these incredible things and these amazing escapes that he has, it's a matter of, I don't want them to have to rely on it. And I know Johnson doesn't want to have to rely on it. So let's see what that second half and what the second half success shows them about what he wants to do, what he can do, and while they're still building up everything with the deep inbreakers and the tight end seam stuff and everything on which the offense is based.
Yeah, but he has it in the offense off of those play action plays where he's under center and those play action fakes. He has it as part of it. So maybe incorporate a couple more here and there, or to look at it, adding a couple each half, whatever it might be, because that's where Caleb is comfortable. Now, for whatever reason, going in the middle of the field and hitting Colson Loveland in stride, he's able to do. And it seems as if a wide receiver getting balls in the middle of the field, they're standing with their back to the end zone, waiting for the ball, to receive the ball. And we talked about this with Tim Jenkins about those machete routes and the samurai routes where you're getting those deep ins and those deep crossovers. I want wide receivers hitting stride in the middle of those fields. When you have that soft zone, that layer between the linebackers,
it's just hard in zone. Like, I understand in man.
It's not. I mean, if a guy's standing there, you can do that. You can hit him. He has the arm to do it. Like, I'm tired of seeing our receivers with their backs to the end zone catching a ball, and then having to decide where I'm going to move or being hit immediately. I want to see our receivers hit in stride. We can do it with the tight end,
but that's going to be on those deep ends that I'm talking about. That's what those plays do. Like Burden, for example, there was a late pass to Burden that was against a zone, and Burden, unlike a lot of rookies, frankly, understood it, felt the coverage, stopped, sat, made a target. If the defense says to do that, go ahead. But like you say, if it's Komet, just don't fall down. Just get up and run.
Keep your legs up.
That those opportunities that they get right off the line of scrimmage, some of those quick X slants that Odunze could run, not having him obviously made that different. But what I would like to see, that rather than one of those developing little bubble screens, that's where you get those quick hitters. That's where you need the free releases. And this team makes it hard. The Packers do not give you a lot of free releases off the line. They come up and jam, and they're very physical. But there will be times when some of the bigger receivers are able to shake somebody and get off, and Caleb can see it and know the matchup and anticipate it. But that's all about this aspect of timing. that still is there sometimes and is not there other times.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a consistent timing to their passing game.
No, you're correct, and it's gotten better at times, like you mentioned. It's there at times, but I think one thing where Caleb has significantly improved, and you mentioned it earlier, is his ability to see downfield, get the ball out of bounds. He's making much better decisions when there's nothing there, and that's good to see. It's good to see that, and that's part of the growth that we've seen in Caleb Williams after what we had 9-4 now after 13 games. After 13 games, we've seen that growth there from Caleb. It's frustrating though, because what I saw in the second half is the guy I've been wanting to see for a complete game. And I think once we see that for a complete game, this would have been a different game. If the Bears offense was playing just marginally better in the first half, this is a different ball game. And that gives me encouragement as a Bears fan, despite the loss. As frustrated as I am, as much as I hate the Packers and I hate their hillbilly fan base, fine. I'm still encouraged by what I saw in the second half. And I know they're going to be able to take the tape from this and say, all right, this is what we did really well. Here's where we can improve. And in 2 weeks, it's going to be a different outcome.
Part of what I think they can do that hurt them in the first half was find the hots against the blitz. They had chances, and Caleb is so excited to get out of there and do the magic act that sometimes he's going to have to take it on the chin, and he's going to have to just wait for that guy to come open, because anytime they're house blitzing like they were with some of the single high stuff, the guys are open. And those passes that you're talking about, those guys in stride and on the move with green grass, the blitzes are those chances. And the blitz was just too effective. That if for the passing game to be better, I want people to be scared of blitzing this team. And there, in this game, you would look at it and you'd say, well, this is a reason to do it. Make him drop his eyes. They'd come after him, make him drop his eyes, make him try to roll out, and then throw it away. But when it's working, the blitz is weak. Even if you get through, the blitz is, you can't wait. You're licking your chops and hoping they blitz because you can't wait to get it to that hot. It's not defensive offense in that regard, and that's the next step. They're not quite there yet.
And on the passing game for today, Caleb Williams, 19 of 35, 4.9 yards per pass. Jordan Love finishes at 8.5 yards per pass. Obviously, each with one interception. Each quarterback sacked one time. Caleb certainly pressured quite a bit more than Jordan Love the entire game, but one sack for Caleb, 9 yards, and then the Montes Sweat sack of Jordan Love for 14 yards.
Well, and we always have said, and it's sort of been one of our 2025 mantras, has been whatever Ben Johnson does, don't make it look like a Bears game. And this didn't.
Started out.
It started out looking kind of ugly, but
Yeah.
They went into the locker room, they came out with a plan, and it was really close to being a thing. And I think I would have had a heart attack if they had scored and then gone for two.
Yeah, Hank and I were talking about it, and he asked me, like, what would you do? And I'm like, if you score here on the road, I'd say go for two.
Yeah,
go for two and take their heart out, man. Yeah,
I think he would have too.
Probably.
I don't know if he'd get asked or if he'd tell the truth if asked, but this is an interesting coaching aftermath for Ben Johnson. This is because you know how we had talked about being able to really clobber your guys after a loss, or excuse me, after a win, to be able to come out of a win and say, yeah, we won, but yeah, we won, but this isn't sustainable. We got to do this. This has to be better. This has to be better. Is this the opposite? Again, not a moral victory. Now, but maybe you take it a little easy. Maybe you don't go out of your way to pound them in film after this one. Maybe you just want them to, you keep reminding them how close they were. If we do this a little bit better, this thing is really close. That you might be able to take a different approach from a coaching perspective. You don't have to hit them over the head with this one. They're hurting. They know how close it was. Caleb is probably beating himself up because he just got, he got a little excited when he saw Komet coming free, and the timing was just a little off. But this might be one. Like I say, if you had another quarter in this game, Bears would have beaten them.
Taking a look around the league for Week 14 in the NFL, of course, Thursday Night Football, we discussed already. Detroit over Dallas, 44-30. It was Seattle taking down Atlanta, 37-9. That impacts the playoff picture. Pittsburgh beat Baltimore, 27-22. Titans get another win on the season over Cleveland, 31-29. Myles Garrett with 1 sack in that game.
Yeah, George Sanders had a great game too.
So he's up to, 19 now? 20. No, he's up to 20. So he's at 20, so he needs 3 sacks to break the record. Jacksonville takes down Indianapolis 36-19. Minnesota blanks Washington 31-0. Like, man, you look at where Washington was last year, dude. Look where they were last year, NFC Championship game. They lose today to Minnesota 31-0 at Minnesota. Miami takes down the Jets 34-10. New Orleans over Tampa Bay 24-20. Buffalo beats Cincinnati and Joe Burrow 39-34. Late games today, Denver over the Raiders 24-17, and the Rams get the win over Arizona 45-17.
Daniel Jones reportedly tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So obviously it just is a massive blow to the playoff hopes for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, did I see that Jaden Daniels left that game too?
He left that game also. He was, I think they had the sleeve off of his arm because it wasn't his elbow that kept him out, and he was getting looked at on the bench. And then last I saw, he was going into the big blue tent where the Giants' old head coach was in there yelling at him. And so, yeah, he was going to the blue tent. I haven't seen anything further after that.
Okay, I just wanted to keep an eye.
But you're right, he did go out. So the current playoff picture, Dan: the Rams, the 1 seed; the Packers, the 2; the Eagles, the 3; Buccaneers, 4; Seahawks, 5. Even with the bye week and their conference record, the 49ers jump above the Bears to 6, and the Bears drop down to 7. Lions a game behind and the 8th spot. The Panthers, the 9th spot, and the Cowboys, with their loss, they're at the 10th spot now.
Well, I didn't have to use the poem that I wrote at halftime.
You didn't, but I think you should still share it though. Just as an art, as a work of art, because it was very creative. Yeah.
Okay.
Take your shirt off though when you do it.
No, thank you.
Okay.
I don't want to take this off either.
Oh yeah, go Green Wave.
RMFW.
RMFW.
Yeah, figure it out.
RMFW. Okay.
Yeah. RMFW. You got it? So here, I wrote this down at halftime. And this is, don't pull this out of context, Cody Del Mendo. Don't pull this out of context. Bad, worse, worst. Everything reversed. It all feels good until your bubble gets burst. But I did. Well, I that's what I was going to go with. If everybody, but I came out of this thinking, they acquitted themselves like a real ass football team.
Agreed.
Like a real NFL team. They took it on the chin, and they came out at halftime, and they gave it right back. And it didn't work in the end. It's a tough place, tough conditions, tough everything. They weren't going to win out for the remainder of the year. I wasn't expecting them to win all their remaining games, but the resiliency, their ability to bounce back and accomplish some things in the way that they did, and all whatever it took, I thought was something on which they can build. And that, I guess ultimately that's, my takeaway is kind of neutral on this, other than the outcome and the change. But I expected that. I expected there were going to be some wins and losses from here on in. So other than that, and that's going to shuffle around, it's going to change more. My feeling is not as negative as I thought it was if you just would have shown me the final score of the game.
I agree with that. And I think you worded it perfectly, that they acquitted themselves really well from that first half. And despite the loss, this should still go down as this is a quality football team that still in the playoff picture, has more work to do to make sure it's a guaranteed thing, but can do something in the playoffs. This is a team that can win playoff games. I believe they are that good of a team that they can win playoff games.
And I also think that upcoming opponents are going to try to make Caleb Williams beat them from jump. And the key now is being able to establish the passing game enough early that it opens everything up. Because the running game's so tough that they're able to do it even when everyone knows it's coming. And you don't want to do that until you're leading. It's great to be good at that. It's when you're good at that. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, these are finite games, sadly enough. And you can't spend all day punching your opponent and beating them up without having the ability to score quickly and the ability to take those shots and have those explosives in the passing game early as well as late. But you can see it from here. That's the thing. You can see it from here. And I know Ben Johnson can see little bits here and there. And if this is a year early, if they are better than they were supposed to be, that's okay. But we're going to keep the expectations high. We're going to keep looking at everything they do and everything they say about how good they are and know that each season, each opportunity to win is precious. But I also do believe that they're still learning. I think Ben Johnson is still learning. I think Caleb Williams certainly is. But you can see what is envisioned when this is all working together properly.
So the Bears do have 4 games left on the season. They have the 3-10 Browns coming into Soldier Field this Sunday. And that's a noon game, if I'm not mistaken, Sunday noon game for Bears and Browns. Then they have 3 NFC games left, 2 division games. So Packers, 49ers, and then Lions to end the season. So at 9-4, second place in the NFC North. The 7th seed currently, we're at the playoffs to start today. The Bears are in the playoffs, but they're going to need to get some work done here in the next few weeks and get ready for, first of all, the Browns coming up at home this Sunday at noon.
There's going to be a lot to discuss throughout the week on Forward Progress, also on Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. We're going to be right back at it tomorrow. I'm going to be on at 8:15 as I am on Mondays and Fridays with Sherman and Tingle on 97.1 FM. The Drive, Chicago's classic rock. And then we'll be doing both pods tomorrow and throughout the week. We've got a new Organizations Win Championship. I got to run upstairs and watch this Bulls game now. Hey.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry about that.
Believe me, I wish I could watch more of the second half of this last game. But yeah, I got to go do that. But we're going to be with you all week, charting everything the Bears do, responding to everything that happens and every bit of news that we get. Thank you for joining us and appreciate, as always. Oh, if you haven't downloaded the app, get the app.
That's right. The News 312 Sports app is out there on Google
awesome.
Play.
It's awesome.
The Apple App Store, so go ahead and get it done. Once you download the app, make sure you register, okay? It doesn't, you're only going halfway if you download the app. Download it, register, get yourself registered. You can get all the information that you need there. There's ways to communicate. We're still getting lots of voice messages coming through from some of the same people over and over, and we love it. So
yeah. And there are rewards that you're going to get for listening. There's gift certificates and all kinds of things. It is absolutely in your best interest. We're so excited about the 312 Sports app, so make sure you download it. If this is your first time joining us for a post game, welcome. And if you should be a part of the 312 Sports family with everything that we're doing. Dan Bernstein Unfiltered every day, Forward Progress every day, and post games. So let's. I wish I had some clean way of describing the way that I ultimately feel about the Bears falling to 9-4 and losing to their primordial rival. But it was a hell of a football game.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining football game. Second half got really, really good. So
good game, a really good game that the Bears happened to lose, but it may portend well indeed for their immediate and longer-term future. There, it took me about 45 minutes to talk my way into how I felt about it, but
you got it.
I eventually got there.
Well, there one programming note too. So if you're a regular listener to Forward Progress, if you're not, you should make today the starting point for you to listen on a regular basis. On Wednesdays, Dan, not only will you and I share our NFL thoughts when we talk Forward Progress and the Bears, but Matt Miller NFL Draft Scout, ESPN Draft Analyst, is going to join us weekly starting this Wednesday throughout the rest of the playoffs. So we'll have Matt Miller join us for a portion of our show on Forward Progress every Wednesday here on 312 Sports.
Well, that's kind of huge.
Yeah, fun news, right?
Yeah,
we were chatting earlier today, and, here we go. That's what we're going to do. So,
aha! All right, then. That just made my night.
Good.
Awesome.
Glad to hear that.
All right,
so
cool.
if you've never heard Matt Miller, go back and listen to our podcast from earlier this week on Wednesday, Forward Progress Wednesday's episode. Matt Miller was on with Dan. I sat that one out because I was feeling under the weather. Feel so much better today. I can tell you that right now. But Matt Miller, ESPN analyst, a draft analyst, one of their draft insiders, will join us every Wednesday on Forward Progress for the rest of the football season. So we're excited to have that. Thank you for joining us today. If you do not subscribe yet to Forward Progress and Dan Bernstein Unfiltered and Organizations Win Championships, do that.
Yes.
Get to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications. You can also get notified now on your smartphone. Yeah, and then get yourself ready to watch Tulane. Oh, one thing you won't have to do, though, Bears fans, is watch Notre Dame in the playoffs.
Wait, save it for tomorrow.
Well, say what? I just that's all I was going to say. What am I saying? What do you mean?
Your texts have been awesome.
What text?
And I agree.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
And they're like, we're not going to a bowl game. We don't want
I'm
to
going to take my ball and go home now because I'm mad. Anyway.
You know what else is going away? All the bowl games. You could basically, what Notre Dame did is I think what everybody's going to do now. Because why would you bother to play in the ass bowl and just get a bunch of guys
Because, man,
hurt?
you could walk away with the ass trophy.
Yes, the giant. We're so proud to be representing here in the ass bowl, and then they go in and they get this swag bag. What's in it? Ass.
You know who's showing up for a bowl game?
Also ass.
You know who's showing up for a bowl game this year?
Who?
Vanderbilt and the Pavia gang. They're showing up for whatever bowl game
they're not
they
missing
get.
anything.
No.
Are you kidding?
If there's any booze to be had,
The Pavia brothers have already started drinking for that game. They've started pre-gaming already.
that's the only way they win.
I think they're roofing each other, actually.
You know who's not pre-gaming? Notre Dame fans.
No, they're not.
What's that saying? Luck of the what? It must have run out. Good for you, Miami. I'm happy you're there.
All right, before you get yourself in trouble,
Should I say goodbye?
Say goodbye.
All right. Hey, Bears lose to the Green Bay Packers, right? That's what they're called? Packers 28-21. Fall to 9-4 on the season. They take on the Browns this coming Sunday, but we have more Bears and Packers talk for you tomorrow on DBU and Forward Progress right here on 312 Sports.